Jaguars defensive end Dante Fowler arrested in the Tampa Bay area. This is the mugshot just into the newsroom. He was arrested by St. Petersburg police last night at 9 o'clock, released from jail about 5 hours later after posting bond. Channel 4's Chris Parenteau just received a report from the police department. So what prompted all this, Chris?
Bruce, according to the St. Petersburg Police Department, it all started as Fowler was driving through an apartment complex. Just got the arrest affidavit from them within about the last 30 minutes, detailing the entire incident. We also got that mugshot that we can show you again and tell you that Dante Fowler last night was charged with 2 misdemeanors, one for simple battery and one for criminal mischief. According to police with the St. Petersburg Police Department, Fowler was driving through an apartment complex around 6:30 when a man walking through the complex made a comment about Fowler's driving. Dante Fowler then got out of his car and exchanged words with that man, according to police. Police say that Fowler hit the man, knocking his glasses off, and then stomped them on the ground. They also say that Fowler then took the victim's grocery bag with recently purchased liquor in it and threw it into a lake. The St. Petersburg police also add, though, that the victim was not injured in this case. I did reach out to the Jaguars to get their comment on what happened, and a spokesperson told me, quote, the Jaguars are aware of the situation involving defensive end Dante Fowler Jr. and are currently gathering more information. The team has been in communication with Dante. No further comment will be made at this time. We are, of course, trying to look further into this and get more information from the St. Petersburg Police Department as well as from the victim in this case. We'll have much more on air and online at news4jax.com throughout the day. Bruce?
And this comes at a time when the Jaguars are ready to report. Our coverage continues now with Sports Director Sam Kavoris joining us on the phone. So what does this mean going forward for Fowler? What's it mean for the Jaguars?
Fowler has a little bit of a history of this. If you remember the video of him standing in the hallway by the elevator with the mother of his child and his current girlfriend when they both got in a fight, and he stood by and seemed to encourage both of them to go ahead and have a physical altercation. He wasn't, he was somewhat disciplined at the time, but it didn't hurt his draft stock, obviously, when you look at what happened with when the Jaguars took him. The interesting thing here is that the Jaguars constantly tell their players when they leave basically in mid-June after the minicamp and don't have to be back here for about 5 weeks, although the rookies reported today, that this is a very critical time. Stay in shape, stay out of trouble. Fowler clearly did not heed that advice, and this shows the level of immaturity that he continues to have. That was the hallmark of the early part of his career, the first couple of years. That's exactly what Gus Bradley, his former head coach, talked about, that his maturity level seemed to be coming on. This is one of those situations that you've got to avoid when you're a young guy like Fowler. Now, under this new administration with Tom Coughlin and Doug Marrone, I wouldn't be surprised to see him suspended in some situation. Certainly the Jaguars are not going to make anything public, but at the same time, the league itself may get involved because it involves what you might call a civilian and one of their players as well. But this is not good, only because all the Jaguars have talked about is how Fowler has progressed as a player and as a person to become more mature, but to not understand that this is a situation. I mean, come on, you're driving through a parking lot and a guy yells at you and you jump out and punch him in the face. I mean, that's not exactly, unless there is some history we don't know about between these two guys, that's not exactly what I would call the mark of maturity of somebody who understands where their role is in professional sports and certainly in the community.
Sam, thank you. And your point is well taken. There is, pardon the cliche here, a new sheriff in town, and Tom Coughlin. It will be interesting to see how he acts and reacts to this news.